Namaste. Welcome to another live Sangha. I hope you are feeling as well as you can be in this moment. Whatever you are going through, know that how you are feeling is perfectly valid. I'd like to start with an invocation. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanao Bhunaktu Sahaviryang Karva Vahai Tejasvina Vaditamastu Ma Vidvisha Vahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May the Divine protect us both together. May the Divine nourish us both together. May our studies be vigorous and efficient, and may we not mutually dispute or hate any. May there be peace in us, may there be peace in our environment, and may there be peace in the forces that act on us. Welcome Rocky, dear April, Angel, Samafa. You can tell me if I can pronounce your name better. Miananda, hello. Welcome Sky Guardian, dear Brenda, JM, Namaste Andy. Hello Laura. Welcome Gwendolyn, and hi Richard. Let's begin with a nice deep breath. Okay, another one because that was so good. What's that? Do I hear one more? Okay. Welcome, dear Jason. Oh, I'm glad you like the shirt, dear Miananda. This was actually a gift from a podcast that I was on. Very kind of them. Jonathan, for making this for me. Really unique idea with jersey numbers for what number podcast episode you were on. That was the first episode, so I've got a 1 here. And it says my name on the back, which is cool. And this is my silhouette. It's called the Consciousness Prince podcast. Very comfy. I like it. Hello, Spinudha. Welcome, Derek. I trust you are knowing that if you're going through any difficult times at this moment, that this too shall pass. Every challenge in life invites us to access a deeper part of ourself, to bring out some virtue, some strength, some wisdom. And if we can see that, then no matter what this moment contains for us, we are always growing, evolving, learning, expanding into higher consciousness. Hello, Talita. Thank you for the heart me that you sent. Never expected, but deeply appreciated. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We've got a Victorian child here, it seems. Urinal fire. Could I please trouble you for a small handful of beans, please? My good sir. Sure. Now scram. Skedaddle. Welcome, dear Jim. Is that a horror movie that you were watching? Dear Sky Guardian. That's hilarious. Hello, bading badang ow. Thank you, Brenda, for the heart me that you sent. Very kind of you. Radhe, oh Radhe. That sounds intense, dear Jim. Well, I'll try not to jump scare you. Boo. Okay, that was my only one. After that, I'm done. No jump scares. I know that was terrifying. I hope you can recollect yourself after that. Thank you, Davis, for your heart. Me too. Thank you, Tiger Luna. Badang, ow. You ask, if I had one thing to say, what would it be? If I could only say one thing for the rest of my life, and that was the entirety of my vocabulary, I would probably say, I love you. Good evening, dear Illust Philosophy. Or can I get another choice? That's my serious answer, but a non-serious answer, I'd say knock knock. And then everyone would be anticipating a knock knock joke, but it would never come. Knock knock. Everyone would always ask, who's there? And I'd follow it up with, knock knock. Knock knock who? Knock knock. Hello, Melo. Hello, Donzuela. Dear Enzo, you ask, in what way is a reality a mystery to me? Reality is a mystery to me in the sense that everywhere I go, I wonder, how, why, what for, who, where am I, what is this? I wonder what's possible. You can live in terms of objective reality, see things for what they are. But in the world of subjective reality, everything is just a question. You look at a tree, you wonder, how long did it take for this to grow? And you don't need an answer. You're satisfied by the mystery. You look at the sun and you wonder, what kind of light does it have in store for us for how many years to come? You see someone on the street and you ask yourself, what kind of story have they lived? It's all just a wonderful wonder. I like that. One is meant to be confused. It helps you learn. Radhe, dearest Magdalene Priya. Dear Gob, you ask, where does one perceive themselves to be in their body? You feel like you're on the top of your head. When we ask a question, where do you perceive yourself in the body, we can start creating lines. We can draw a line through the center and you say, do you feel like you're below the center? Or do you feel like you're above? Most people say they feel like they're above. Alright, you raise the line to their neck. Do you feel like you are above the neck or below? Most people say they are above the neck. You draw two lines, maybe in between the eyes. You ask, do you feel like you're in between them or on the outside of them? Most people say they are between them. All right then. So if you feel yourself here, who are you to be feeling yourself there? And where is the real you to which this reference point exists of over here as compared to somewhere else? Close your eyes, you ask the same question, where are you? All you can say is that you are here. But where is here? If you can point to it, then where are you pointing from? If you say you are in the mind, then to whom does the mind occur? Even the question itself, where are you? Who is the one listening to the question being asked? Hello, dear Chelsea. Hello, dear Spinuda. I'm feeling well, thank you. Welcome under the seas. And you ask, am I scared of something? Oh yes. Terrified of the next moment, but you know what? It never comes. It's always this moment. And this moment ain't so bad. And welcome, N. Pinera. Thank you for sharing the live, dearest Magdalene and Fiddle Leaf. I like that, Knuckles. I am everywhere but nowhere. And the nice thing about the word nowhere is if you just create a space between the word, nowhere becomes now here. Spinuda, you ask, do I think life is eternal? Of course. It can be no other way. If it were subjected to a beginning and an end, it would not be life. Why? Because life is not something physical, not an object that experiences place and time. It is the subject, the reference point to space and time. If it were isolated in any place or in any duration, then that means it has some quality to it of being here but not there, or being now but not then. This means that you could isolate it somehow, that there could be some measure for it. It would become an objective phenomenon. But life as we know it is not found in the physics of it all. Life is the sense of self that pervades not just you and I, but the whole of creation. The universe awakened to itself. Its subject is nobody, nowhere and never. Time does not touch it. Many bodies may come and go. Many worlds created and destroyed. In fact, whole universes arising into being and dissolving again. But that reference point, that subject, must be categorically different for it to have conscious awareness. For it to be conscious awareness, it needs to be absolutely empty. Nirguna, it's called in Sanskrit, beyond quality. If it's nirguna, that means it has nothing about it that you can see, nothing about it that you can hear, nothing about it that you can know directly, and yet it is what sees all, hears all, knows all. That very space cannot be destroyed nor created, because doing so would imply that it was anything other than consciousness, which is just the space of experience, a witnessing presence. It mustn't have form in order to experience that which has form. For it to come and go would make it into an object like all the other experiences that come and go. But which side of the experience is it on? The side of the temporary coming and going, or the side of the eternal witnessing? Hello, Tamia. Hello, bugs in your fancy painting. Thank you, dear Knuckles, for the trio of finger hearts that you sent. Om Pram Hanumate Namah. And dear Knuckles, I appreciate your mischief. Tattvamasi, thank you for your quintet of roses. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Dearest Gwendolyn, thank you for your heart me. Hare Krishna. And John Simon, thank you for your heart me and rose. Om Dum Durgaya Namah. Thank you, Rahina, for the heart me as well. Ram Ram. Never expected, but always appreciated. Miyananda, you ask if life is eternal. Is it true that we are vampires? We are the opposite of vampires, because we have nothing to extract from others, but everything to give. We have come here without a body. We will leave without a body. Believe me. So it's not what we get in life, because we have to return all that, is what we give. And so you ask, if one can't find I, how can one find someone else? You cannot locate the reference point to which all these beings and their forms have arisen. But you can see that everything is a reflection of that source self. So although at the ultimate sense, you are not the body, you are not the mind, and therefore what you see as fellow human beings and other forms of life are also not the true self. That's okay, because it doesn't disqualify the reality of the life we live at the level of the physical either. It may be temporary, but no less real of an experience. We still do get to have a sense of self, a lowercase I. Our place in the world, our bodies, our minds, are a part of ourself, just only a finite part. We mustn't confuse it for the infinite. In the same way, all other forms of life, other bodies and minds, are other little selves that represent the whole, and we have a play to perform with them here. Thank you, Tracy, for your 6 roses. Om Sum Suryaya Namah. And Knuckles, thank you for your hand hearts. Om Kring Kali Kaye Namah. Hello, Marcy, and thank you, Grandma Fairy, for your likes. I would love to listen to you now as we read from another section of The Journey Home, an autobiography by an American Swami. No, dear Jim, I haven't heard William Shatner's explanation or reaction to space, but I've seen many episodes of Star Trek and listened to his character of Captain Kirk speak. Let's continue where we left off. Today we're starting the 8th chapter. May this reading relax your mind and awaken your heart. Let's dive right into it. Hello, G. After I recovered, Ramsey, Jeff, and I resumed our journey eastward. In those days, there was a whole counterculture of world travelers who endured the hardships of a very low budget. Most were adventurous, and many were spiritually inclined. At times we met in the most unexpected places. In Erzurum, you can tell me if I can pronounce that place better, Ramsey and Jeff met some traveling brothers who had convinced a bus driver to let them ride for free on a company bus traveling to Tehran. The bus was only half filled with supplies, so there was plenty of room for a few passengers. In this way, joining them we crossed the border of Turkey and entered Iran. Once inside the impressive immigration building on the border, we took note of the wall-sized photograph of the Shah. Even more sobering was a sign posted by the U.S. State Department. In big letters, it warned American citizens that Iran, the penalty for possession, transportation, or selling of hashish or opium products was death. If one was arrested, the State Department had little influence to help. The bus driver was delayed by immigration formalities, so we went to wait inside the bus. Pardon me. It was evening. Soon, a crowd of children gathered to see the strange foreigners through the bus window. Although they wore ragged clothing, they were beautiful children. I smiled at a small boy of about 4 years old, but he glared back at me with such intense hatred in his eyes that I lost my breath. How was it possible for such a small child to possess such hate? I was to be haunted by repeating nightmares of his stare. I thought how frightening it was to see how impressionable children are. By family and surroundings, they can be conditioned to love, fear, or hate before they are even able to reason. We arrived at the ancient city of Tabriz. As I explored the streets on my own one day, one kind family invited me into their home, a 2-room abode made of brick. The women of the family had been working painstakingly for several years on a single Persian rug. Mother and daughter sat on the floor of their simple hut creating precious art. The intricate designs might have up to 250 handmade knots per square inch. Naturally, dyed wool shone with dazzling colors, each one with a life of its own. Red, blue, green, orange, yellow, white, and violet. These were but a few of the colorful yarns they stitched so meticulously. So simple and gracious was their hospitality that I felt like part of the family. They didn't speak a word of English, but that didn't matter. For dinner, all the men of the family sat on the floor and invited me to join them. They first recited a beautiful prayer of thanksgiving before enjoying the flatbread and tea. As we munched happily on the homemade food, their 10-year-old son entered the door smiling proudly. He had a great surprise in his clenched hands. Dates from their tree. Moving toward me, he placed the sumptuous fruit on my plate. Everyone laughed and exclaimed my good fortune. 5 times a day, the family abandoned whatever they were doing to offer prayers to Allah and the holy city of Mecca. The natural devotion of these humble souls moved my heart. I thanked God for this experience, and I thanked this family for their kindness towards a wayward stranger. Our bus cruised through the mystical terrain of Iran. As far as the eyes could see, the flat, arid desert expanded in all directions. Hours passed with no sign of life. From time to time, sandy hills or villages of tiny clay houses appeared in the distance. We drove during the cool parts of the day and all night long. One night, the moonless sky filled with a multitude of stars that sparkled beyond the horizons on all sides. Fascinated by the beauty, we stared through the bus windows. My fellow travelers urged me to play my harmonica. Gazing into the ocean of stars, I played a spontaneous song of my sincere yearning for God. I poured my heart into that instrument. As my tearful song played, the bus fell silent. When it ended, everyone exclaimed. I looked around and saw more than a few passengers weeping. Smiling, my friend Jeff patted my shoulder from the seat behind, while in front my other friend Ramsey flicked his thumb up in approval. I was humbled, knowing that I really didn't know how to play the instrument well. I thanked God and Jimmy the Bear back in Opalaka. It was while traveling across the Iranian deserts that concern for my mother and father flooded my heart. They had expected me home several weeks earlier and had not heard from me since Athens. They must be suffering miserably. Why then did I not write to them? The truth was, I didn't know how to compose the letter. Whatever words I might use to try to explain my resolve to travel overland to India, their hearts would shatter. What could I do? My search for God had become the only thing I was living for. If I neglected it, I knew I would be a hollow shell. Mother and father had dedicated their lives and souls to the welfare of their 3 children. Both came from poor Jewish families whose immigrant parents fled from Lithuania, Romania, Russia, and Poland to escape religious persecution. As far as I knew, all the relatives who'd remained were later murdered by the Nazis. My mother had lived through a difficult childhood. As a small girl, she suffered her father's early death. Then soon after, her elder sister was attacked in an alley and left traumatized for life. As a teenager, my mother had to work to support her ailing mother, her now handicapped elder sister, and her younger sister. But she was always cheerful and grateful for what God had given her. Later in life, she served her husband and children faithfully 24 hours a day, but she never abandoned her first family, quietly scrimping and saving to send relief. While raising 3 sons, she single-handedly did all the chores of the household, including cleaning, washing, and ironing clothes, shopping, and cooking an amazing feast every evening. She was slender, radiant, and dressed meticulously. The parents of all my friends marveled at my mother's beauty and grace. Her willingness to help others extended beyond her family. As long as I could remember, she joyfully volunteered to serve in various charitable organizations, performing in fundraising dances in particular, and my brothers and I were always on guard lest she suddenly give our used toys or clothes away to Goodwill. Throughout our lives, she had emphasized the virtue of gratitude. She was sure to ask if I had thanked the parents of my friends if I ate at their houses, sure that I offered thanks to whomever showed kindness to me. Of all the displeasing traits children could exhibit, ingratitude disturbed her the most. Consequently, she was sure not to spoil us by satisfying our whims, and whenever we were given a gift, she stressed, "It's the thought that counts." She led by example. Whether she received a gift of precious jewelry or a simple flower, she was equally thrilled. In this, she taught me that happiness comes not from the material thing, but from the love with which it is given. She took immense pride in seeing whatever good we did. Whether the results were big or small, she was happy as long as our efforts were honest. Time and again, she revealed her selfless service to us. When I had suffered my dislocated shoulder, she was there within moments to drive me to the hospital. After surgery, the first person I saw at my bedside was my mother. I coughed and pleaded, "Mom, your cigarette is making me sick." As was the fashion for American women at the time, she had been smoking 2 packs of cigarettes every day for over 15 years. But the thought that she caused me pain greatly affected her heart. As she frantically extinguished the cigarette, tears welled in her brown eyes. Ashamed, she came to my bedside, stroked my cheek, and said, "Darling Richie, if my smoking causes you pain, I promise you to never touch another cigarette for the rest of my life." And she never smoked again. My father shared much in common with my mother. He had to leave school at 15 due to shortage of food at home and labored to assist his parents in the time of the Great Depression. Later, as a married man, he worked hard to financially maintain his aging parents and sickly mother-in-law, along with his own family. Financial challenges seemed to follow him like a shadow. In 1958, when I was 7 years old, he and my Uncle Irving invested everything they had in a promising business venture. They became the largest automobile dealership in the Chicago area for a brand new line by Ford, the Edsel. But Edsel's sales plummeted, becoming infamous as one of the greatest failures in automobile industry or history. Consequently, my father sunk into bankruptcy and lost everything. I watched as he struggled, working long hours to protect us from poverty. Besides providing for the welfare of his children, my father loved to play sports and games with us, and when he had the time, took me to football and baseball games. Later, he opened a shop for auto repairs and, in time, with hard work, became quite wealthy. Still, from the age of 15, I worked various jobs after school hours and during school vacations. I never wanted to add to the burden on my parents, a value I had absorbed by their example. The day before I was to leave home for college, my father was especially emotional. "Richie," he said, "let's take a ride together." We drove along the tranquil streets of Highland Park, Sherwood Forest, surrounded by the sounds of children laughing and playing. "Son," he began, "as long as I'm alive, I'm always here for you." Stopping the car, he held my hand as his voice quivered. "As your father, I expect you to do your best, but whether you succeed or fail, do good or bad deeds, or even betray me, as long as I'm alive, I'll love you and I'm here for you. This is a promise I will live and die to keep. Please, never forget this." Overwhelmed, I listened. I knew that he meant every word he spoke. Sure enough, he remained true to his promise, though I was to test him beyond his farthest expectations. The bus stopped on a hill outside a village, and I was lifted out of my reminiscence. I lifted my duffel bag off the floor, untied the strings, and pulled out a pen and an Iranian aerogram. The moment had come to explain my resolve to my parents. "My dear family," I began writing. "Everything has been going well with me. Roads get bumpy at times, but they are fine roads. I have been doing much thinking and have found that now is the time when I will do something I have been longing to do. Much thought and much contemplation has gone into making it clear that this is the right way. Throughout the world, people look at life through different windows. For almost 20 years, I have been seeing through the eyes of a Western man. I have seen and experienced the laws, philosophies, religions, arts, and overall ways of life of the West. Now I will see how life is lived in the East. I do this not to escape my previous life, but to see another. It is something I cannot see through schools, because schools can only tell me about this through slanted points of view. So I will go to the East myself. What greater education is there than that? I am not doing this to worry you, so please don't hurt yourselves by worrying. It is impossible to write as often as you would like. Sometimes I simply cannot find a post office. My friend Gary is no longer traveling with me. He is in Israel. I always have companions. Give my love to all friends and relatives. Richard. The letter was postmarked Iran and had no return address. So we've come to the end of the 8th chapter. Thank you for listening with me. As a little treat for your patience, we've come to another part of the book where there's some pictures. I'll start the next reading with some pictures too, so I won't go through all of them, but I'll show you a couple pages. On this page, see if you can recognize these people. The upper left, we have George Harrison with his friends and his guide, Shyam Sundar. To the right of that, the author's lifelong friend, Gary, with traveling companion, Hackett. Looking like proper hippies, I must say. Your favorite Beatle, Jim, as well as Donzuela's. I love them too. The lower left, we have Baba Ram Das, founder of the Seva and Hanuman Foundations and the author of Be Here Now. And to the right of it, his guru, Neem Karoli Baba, renowned mystic yogi. He was revered as a most recent avatar of Hanuman. You like Ram Das, dear Alex? Me too. And his guru by Krishna Das, he's still alive and makes the most wonderful kirtanas. On the next page we have the Madan Mohan temple in Vrindavan. See if you can see this. Some sneak peeks at the next part of our adventure to come. Joe Sand, you're wondering if there's been any recordings or writings of Neem Karoli Baba. There's a whole movie, which is for free on a website. It's a beautiful movie that made my heart sing. And there are many pictures of him, a few videos, and even a recording of him chanting Ram, 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 Ram. We've listened to it before. I've posted it on the meditations playlist in the YouTube channel. And below that, there is Asim Krishna Das to the right and the author to the left after his fateful haircut. Alright, we will pause our exploration of those pictures there for now, and we'll begin our next reading session with them. What's the movie called, dear Alex? The movie of Neem Karoli Baba? Let me find out for you. Oh, it seems like there's actually a couple of them. But the one I watched was called Windfall of Grace. Windfall of Grace. It's available for free on YouTube, it seems, as well. In various versions. There's a longer version too. Alright, I look forward to listening with you as our journey unfolds next time. That concludes, pardon me, our reading of the journey home in our Shravana section. The listening portion of our Sangha will transition into Manana. Oops, I went too far into Nididhyasana. Let me go back. Hello, dear Maya. Welcome everyone that joined while we were listening. Thank you, dear Marcy, for the heart me you sent. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Dear Grandma Fairy, you share Lily has had 6 trips around the sun now. Yippee! Oh, I'm very grateful for you to share this wonderful news. I wish for many, 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 many more for dearest Lily. She is a most wonderful part of your life, and by extension, I'm grateful to know her through you. I wish for many blessings this year, and that she learn and grow just as you all do from her presence in this world too. Thank you, Gabriella, for the heart you had sent. Om Song Somai Namah. And dear Gina, thank you for your heart me. 2025 and Rose. Hare Krishna. Thank you for your follow, Ash. Hello, Stevie G. This is a very special milestone for dear Lily. Yeah. Ram Das has left his body a few years ago. I actually started listening to the first ever lecture I heard from him during his passing away. It was this multi-hour long lecture, and I guess he passed away while I was listening to it for the first time, because I looked up his name afterwards and it was just like 1 hour ago. Beloved spiritual teacher, author of Be Here Now, Ram Das, has passed away in his home in Hawaii or someplace nice. He lived in a very wonderful place. But he was ready to go. There's actually a documentary on Netflix of his last years in life in his place where he lived, and he was still chanting his mantras for Hanuman on his Rudraksha Mala, going to the garden, things like that. Ram Das had such a beautiful beach house, yes, and a wonderful garden where he said he would talk to Hanuman. So I have a question of the day for you all, if you're interested in exploring it together. Today I'm wondering, in what way can everybody be motherly? Don't think for a second that only women with children can be motherly. Oh, no. You need not have children, nor be a woman, to have motherly qualities. So, in what ways can we all be motherly? I'd love to explore that with you. Please feel free to express whatever is on your hearts and minds. Certainly not looking for any answer that will be deemed as right versus others that are wrong. You love to be a mother, shares dear Mariham. And you are so motherly to the people that you take care of, the many animals and elderly. Foxy Loxy, you share caring. And to that you add Miss Lee, caring for other people. Ryan, you share creativity, allows for the birth of all ideas. Oh, I love your extension of the concept of birth in such a way. Naturally, shares Dalita. Yeah. Donsuela Priya, you share. Oh my goodness, all of you have been motherly to you. We're also encouraging and kind. I'm so happy to hear that. We've got some good motherly vibes in this space. Thanks to mothers like you as well. Of course. It wouldn't be the same without you. Stevie G, you share. Just being a loving, caring, harmonious being, taking care of everyone pleasantly. I see that. Yeah. Crossfires, you add. Just listen to them. The mother always listens. I think one of the most endearing things about this space is how much you encourage each other, and I get to see that when you share your answers to the questions of the day. I love the support. Saying, "Oh, I like your answer," and vice versa. Stevie G, you love Sadhguru's affirmation. I am a mother to the world that he teaches us. Reminds me of my dream I had about you too last night. Dear Gregor G, you share. Tell the homies to make sure they put on their coats before going out in the cold, right? And to text us when they get home. Emia, you share giving unconditional love to people, animals, and nature. Mother is love. Yes. Michelle, you share being nurturing, providing comfort, caring for others, guiding them, and helping them grow. Indeed. Neon Jello Pack, you share supporting others to reach their full potential. Yeah, those are some good motherly vibes. A mother is a visionary, a seer. She is able to directly touch that part which brings out growth. The soil, the fertile soil. Dearest Donzuela, you share accepting everyone as they are is such a motherly way to be. Indeed. And Stevie G, I'm glad you found magic in that dream. Jim, you share being one with nature and seeing how you are one with sharing birth of a new day. I like that addition a lot too. There's a reason we call her Mother Nature. Marcy, you share, make sure you are getting your nutrients and a good amount of rest. Yes. And that reminds me. Hydration check. Today I am drinking from a wonderful glass of water with lemon juice, a pinch of salt, and ginger. Grandma Fairy, you share nurturing your elderly mother, grandchildren, family, friends, animals, and people you don't know. Sounds like you do know. Oh, and people you don't know, I see. Perhaps the comma wasn't meant to be there. Strangers. Thank you for the hydration reminder, Liz. Stevie G, you share always be the one others can lean on. Yeah. Hello, Myrna. You add feed everybody. Yes. And that's what Ram Dass's guru would say. He'd say feed people, help people, love people. That was his trifecta of teachings. Zime, you share never leaving alone a person that needs help. Yeah, a mother's always there. Oh, what a perfect answer, dear Hybrid Jen. See the child in anyone. Yes. Oh, you bring it out of me, dear Neon Jello Pack. You inspire me. Ella, you share taking care of your chihuahuas, growing your garden, and visiting your grandmother who has dementia. Those are all very motherly things that you do. And I, on behalf of the world, I'm sure can say for you that that is a gift to be grateful for. Thank you. Greg RG, wonder if this cup is 3D printed. It kind of looks like that, doesn't it? No, I've had it ever since childhood, actually. Yeah, this has been in the cupboards for long before 3D printers were really a thing. The amount of apple juice I've drank from this cup over my 23 years, oh, phenomenal. I could probably fill an Olympic swimming-sized pool with that. And you drink the same, Ariham. Real G, you share sneak attacks of hugs. I like a good sneak attack of hugs myself, yes. Gotta plan it in advance. Consent, of course. Dear Crossfires, you share, sometimes you remind them not to slouch. Yeah, you're only as old as your back, as your spine. Keep your spine healthy. You could be doing front flips when you're 90 years old. But if you don't keep your back healthy, by 20 years old, you're practically a goner. Speaking as someone who has broken my back. Those weeks of recovery where I'm walking with a walking stick. Oh my goodness, I think my voice must have talked like this too. Grandpa Yam in the house. Ooh, ooh, oh my back. Glad you like my shirt, dear Kimia. It was a gift from a podcast I was on. Consciousness Prince. That's right, Mirna. See the child even in your spouse. Stevie G, you add to our question of the day, encourage others. Also cultivate a harmonious atmosphere. Oui. Hybrid Jin, you share your oldest son has a favorite cup. His like that is pink. Aww. I think it's so cute how us as children we have our favorite things, we have our favorite cups, we have our favorite blankies, we have our favorite pillows, stuffed animals. Dansuela, you share when you're a mom, you find yourself giving weird advice like, don't put that in the outlet. Yeah, I've learned that the hard way. Or sandwiches don't belong in the VCR. That's right. Look, Mommy, the VCR was hungry, so I fed it a waffle. Yeah, I did break my back in university, dear Michelle. My L3. Fortunately, it healed very quickly. Stevie Geo add, remind others what is best for their body and being. Indeed. CC, your answer of today is self-care. I love that. And hello, Dean. That's right, Gregor G. But Mom, I want to watch PB&J today. It's a magic device. What you put in shows up on the screen. I want to know, what's the story of this peanut butter and jam? Where's it been? I think anyone who grew up with VCR tapes knows the struggle of trying to put all the black tape, the magnetic tape back in. You just keep pulling it out like, ooh, fun, what's this? And then when it's all out, your parents walk in, they go, oh my God, our wedding tape, you pulled it out. Miananda, you add, just like a mother massages a baby that has colics and cries for nights, we too can soothe our emotions. It's beautiful. Yes. Stevie G, you share, instead of peanut butter and jam, why not peanut butter and yam? Hey, that's yamabolism. I cannot condone that. Neon Jello Pack, you don't wish to dampen the mood, but you find this question a day a bit triggering in the best way. Oh. I'm sorry for the trigger. You are always welcome to share how the space makes you feel, especially if you are uncomfortable in any way. It's never a dampening of the mood, to be honest. Unless your intention is to dampen the mood for others, which I know is not true. It's okay. That's right, Jim. You gotta be kind and rewind all your VHS tapes. And thank you, dear Dub Darker, for your heart me as well. Om Kamalir Mahakali Kai Namah. You like my little ahams, dear Cece? I can't help them, they just come out. Well, thank you everyone for exploring this question of the day. Just the attentiveness to this question was very motherly from all of you, so thank you. I am inspired and bow to the mother within all of you. Om Namah Karim Ambita Me Shurim Nadita Me Harim Devita Me Ang Sarasvatyai Swaha. That comes from the Rig Veda, very, very ancient revelation from India. And it means to the best of mothers, to the best of rivers, to the best of deities is the mother goddess, whom embodies divine song, divine art, divine language, divine knowledge, divine expression. Namaste, dear Anna. Hola, spaghetti on a plate. And Gregarji, you share, in fact, the DJ says, be kind and rewind music, as well as, if it's nice, play it twice. That's great. And Liz, you do your best mothering by finding lost socks and toys. Oh yes. They do hard work, mothers. We gotta give them a credit where it is due. None of us would be here without a mother, that's for sure. I'm happy to hear that, Nyanjalo Pack. And thank you, Dalita, for your finger heart. Om Saraswatyai Namah. Shelly Belly, you shared the other day your friend told you that you give motherly advice. Aw, that's a nice validation. It is with an extra special intention of the Sangha to honor the Divine Feminine. I do see it as a wonderful opportunity in this age, that there's a lot more room to see divinity within femininity. I hope we can use this space to eternally celebrate the contributions of mothers, which are invaluable. Nurturing is the nature of this universe. She is a mother. You know, when they say God is love, God is light, God is all protective, all nurturing, I see why they say that God is a mother. That infinite source contains all gender. We should honor that too. Hybrid Jen, you share motherhood can be ghetto and rough sometimes. Many regions. Keep child safe, universal. Yeah. It can be a thankless job at times. Much love, dear Cece. now, I would love to switch scenes for a moment to read from a lawyer who had a knack for poetry and was very motherly in his love to the divine. It's time for another episode of Ruminations. It is my hope that our beloved admirer of Rumi, dearest G to infinity, is listening. Let's see where we left off. We're in Ghazals. This poem's called This Useless Heart. Heart, since you embraced the mysteries, you have become useless for anything else. Go mad. Don't stay sane. People meditate to get something. All you do is give. Crazy Majnun's priorities are now yours too. If you want to be respectable, why do you go downtown drunk? It's no good just sitting in some corner once you've made friends with the dissolute of this path. Go back to the desert, leave this shabby town. There's the smell of a tavern somewhere in this neighborhood, and it's already got you high. Now follow it. Go to Kaf Mountain, like the Simurgh. Leave these owls and herons. Go into the thicket of reality like a lion. Why linger with hyenas and dogs? Don't go after the scent of Joseph's shirt. Like Jacob, his father, you have already mourned his death. That was called This Useless Heart. Let's read another one. It's called The Ruins of the Heart. I am a sculptor, a molder of form. In every moment I shape an idol. But then, in front of you, I melt them down. I can rouse 100 forms and fill them with spirit. But when I look into your face, I want to throw them in the fire. Do you merely fill this drunkard's glass, or do you really oppose the sober? Is it you who brings to ruin every house I build? My soul spills into yours and is blended. Because my soul has absorbed your fragrance, I cherish it. Every drop of blood I spill informs the earth. I merge with my beloved when I participate in love. In this house of mud and water, my heart has fallen into ruins. Enter this house, my love, or let me leave. And lastly, we'll read Because I Cannot Sleep. Because I cannot sleep, I make music at night. I am troubled by the one whose face has the color of spring flowers. I have neither sleep nor patience, neither a good reputation nor disgrace. 1,000 robes of wisdom are gone. All my good manners have run 1,000 miles away. The heart and the mind are left angry with each other. The stars and the moon are envious of each other. Because of this alienation, the physical universe is getting tighter and tighter. The moon says, "How long will I remain suspended without a sun? Without love's jewel inside of me, let the bazaar of my existence be destroyed stone by stone. O love, You who have been called by 1,000 names, you who know how to pour the wine into the chalice of the body, you who give culture to 1,000 cultures, you who are faceless but have 1,000 faces, O love, you who shape the faces of Turks, Europeans, and Zanzibaris, give me a glass from your bottle, or a handful of bhang from your branch. Remove the cork once more, then we'll see 1,000 chiefs prostrate, and a circle of ecstatic troubadours will play. Then the addict will be free of craving, and will be resurrected, and stand in awe till Judgment Day. Was translated by Kabir Helminski with Lail Fauladweind. Thank you for listening. So, we read The Ruins of the Heart, Because I Cannot Sleep, after The Useless Heart. So The Useless Heart, The Ruins of the Heart, and Because I Cannot Sleep. Thank you for listening. O love's universal essence, unity through diversity. If any of you have any insights on the impact of love, let me know. And then we can go back to some manana. And I love that too, dear Jim Terry. You think Christ was the ultimate divine, a mother to the all, and a warrior carrying a cross. I love that you see that in the mother. Thank you for listening, dear Don Suela. I concur. His poems are also beautiful and heartfelt. Thank you as well, dear Michelle. Never Ending shares user 680. Just to check in, how are you all feeling in this moment? Including you, O silent witness. What may I hold space for at this moment? Struck by love, shares dear Miananda. I understand. Feeling relaxed, shares dear Mike C. I'm happy to hear that. Welcome Maybe, Stephanie, and Leela. Feeling meh, shares Haley. Well, that's okay. Dearest Greg, you share in this moment perfect beauty. I love that. Cece, you're feeling present and appreciative. I'm appreciative of your presence. Welcome, Mark. Jay, you share love is why we're all here. Many points of love for the all-awareness to realize life. Well said. And Michelle, you share, you're trying to fall asleep for hours, but there are birds fighting outside of your window. I know what that's like too. But how lovely it is to hear Mother Nature. I imagine that if I were taken from this world and had the grace of returning, I would be so grateful to hear any part of life. Even sirens, even a child screaming, I'd go, thank you, Lord, for bringing me back here. May we elevate our vibrations together in harmony, dear Craig. You know what I love about singers who harmonize with each other? Is that it always sounds more wonderful when you add your higher vibration on top of another's. And Don Suela, you're presently cuddling your dear dog and listening. So grateful. Aw. I'm happy to hear that. User 680, you're thankful, full of gratitude. Me too. You love the birds, dear Michelle. I'm happy to hear that. I pray that you get some good sleep soon. Grassfires, you share. Those birds talk to us as messengers if you listen. I agree. As a great saying goes, if you listen closely, you can hear the Vedas, spiritual revelations, sung in the rapids of the river, in the breeze of the wind, in the chirpings of the birds, etc. Gardening Greyguard, you share one of your favorite things to hear is birds when you wake up. Not so much fighting, more chirps. My cats too, they delight in the sound. They go, breakfast. Fortunately, they haven't caught any birds. Hello, dear Lily. I'm not sure. My mother cut my hair about a week ago. Dear Stevie G, you ask if anyone saw your latest question. I don't think so, dear Stevie G. I apologize. Perhaps you can rephrase it. Prayers and prayers. Namaste, dear Rav. And Michelle, actually you don't know if they are fighting. You just interpreted that. Who knows? Maybe they're rapping. They're in a rap battle. Cece, you feel like there's a heartbeat in your belly. Aww. I think mothers know that feeling. You can feel a heartbeat in many places in your body. You'll notice if you ever get a cut, you can try this. If you get a scrape anywhere on your body, put your fingertips on that cut. You'll be able to feel your heartbeat. And if you get a good sense of it, you can even bring your heartbeat to any part of your body. No, I've not seen that, dear Lucas, but nice to have you here again. Thank you. And thank you, daily reminder that you are loved, for the daily reminder that you are loved. Hello, Phi Omega. Tonight's been tough for a multitude of reasons, dear Neon Jello Peg. Well, thank you for sharing that. Feeling heartbroken, but you're also grateful for the lessons and the support around you. I'm happy to hear that you are in touch with how you're feeling. I wish lots of healing for your heart. Dearest Anna, you ask if I've ever been to a kirtana. No, I have not, at least in this lifetime. I would love that so much, though. Thank you for being a part of our journey, dear Neon Jello Pack. Greg RG, you need a meme video of a bird rap battle now. Me too. Yeah, that's now up there. Dear Stevie G, you ask, why would someone as healthy and loving as Ram Das get a stroke? You don't get it. I did see your question that time. Yes. Well, from Ram Das's own experience, he didn't see it as something that took away from his life. He said he was stroked by God, in his own words, and that it sent him more inward to be in touch with that loving presence, loving awareness. He looked at it highly with a grace. And that is the true wonder of Ram Dass. Not that his awareness was so elevated that he was beyond experiencing pain, but that he saw each experience as one that he could spiritually benefit from. You'll notice that all of the great spiritual teachers go through health problems, persecution, adversity like anyone else. Jesus was crucified. The Buddha died from indigestion. Ramakrishna Paramahansa had throat cancer. You see, it's not that these experiences are something that we should try to be healthy and avoid. Absolutely. If we can ensure health and well-being for our bodies and minds, that's a great practice. But these experiences are not all bad. When you get sick, if you lose a loved one, if you're heartbroken, if you fail an exam, you can use that experience to grow. In fact, it could be very healing for you to allow yourself to feel whatever you're feeling, even if it's uncomfortable. If you feel resistance, that can be a sign of growth. Ram Dass certainly used all his experiences to grow, and that was one of them. Miananda, you share you'd love for me to visit the Radha temple in Austin. They have a beautiful kirtana every Sunday. Well, thank you. I appreciate your invitation. That's funny, user 680. You call what I said about the heart and its beat Deepak Chopraing. How interesting. So where you first heard of moving heart and blood. Good to know. And thank you, Tan How You, for the heart me you had sent. Om Ganganapataye Namah. I'm doing well. Thank you very much for asking, Michelle. No, I haven't eaten yet, but I appreciate that you're thinking of taking care of my body, making sure I do in that way. Yeah. I'm grateful that you're here, dear Lily. Everything wonderful that happens through these live streams is but an expression of all the goodness that has always existed within us. If you just create a space, it naturally brings itself out. Are you proud of yourself? Because you should be. And thank you, Theo, for your heart me. Om Vasudevaya Namah. I hear some bird chirps in the background. Radhe Radhe. Thank you, Neangelo Pack, for your flowers. Om Imaya Shakdaye Namah. Stevie G, you share, you notice different gurus and masters get illnesses, health issues, but why? They can take on the karma of their devotees. Just like a mother. If you pay close enough attention to a mother, you might notice that when her children start to get sick, and they start getting miraculously better, the mother sometimes gets sick for them. If you pay close enough attention to this, when you have people that depend on you, certain energetic pathways, shall I say, open up, and the things that they would have to go through, the mother or whoever it may be goes through that for them so that they don't have to. Dear user 680, you're struggling with vision loss, so you wish to benefit from growing through this loss. There's a beautiful spiritual teaching that you've reminded me of from a teacher known as Muji. Muji said, in this eye, I can see about 75%. In this eye, about 15%. In this ear, I can't hear as good as this ear. And he said that out of nowhere one day. And I wondered, why did he bring that up? What was the spiritual teaching? And I didn't even mean to, but I kept thinking about that throughout my day. This eye sees 75%. This eye about 15%. And this ear hears better than this one. I'll let you think about that. We have to say goodbye to our bodies one day indeed, dear Anne. Another thing, dear Stevie G, is that spiritual teachers bear suffering in such a way to show others how they can carry space for that as well. You know, if Jesus can literally be crucified and literally forgive the people that are crucifying in the moment, then why can't we? Why can't we forgive, our loved ones for not assuming something when they should have, or whatever? If they can go through the ultimate suffering and still be happy and peaceful, then we've got no excuse. Hello, Asher. Jim, you're wondering, what time is it for me? It's almost 9 p.m. Rav, you had asked how to become physically and mentally strong. Focus on your mind strength first, because a strong mind can carry even a weak body. But even if you're the world's strongest person physically, if your mind is not strong, then you'll be unable to get up from the couch, or your bed, or the floor, or from out of your room, whatever. So start with your mind. You create mental resilience through little spiritual austerities, like fasting, or exercising, or studying, or meditating. All of these things get your mind into a mode where it's uncomfortable because it would prefer something a lot more convenient or gratifying. The mind wants to be a master, but if you can get it into the mindset of servitude to your higher self, the higher self says it's good for you to be physically healthy, so exercise. It's good for you to have a good diet, so eat fruit. It's good for you to be knowledgeable, so study. It's good for you to practice going without a basic need, so fast. Whatever one you want to do, it can be a little austerity for your mind, and that builds up your mental strength. But don't overdo it. Take care of your mind, don't push it past its limit, and take care of your body too. I understand, dear Theo. No matter how complex the dynamic is with the relationships in your life, It can always be brought down into simple things like causing the least harm for everyone involved, ahimsa, being truthful and honest, satya, non-taking what isn't offered, asteya, conserving energy for higher goals, brahmacharya, and non-possessiveness, aparigraha. If you can keep these 5 so-called yamas in mind, then so many situations become simpler. Yes. You are a very powerful being, dear Anna. I haven't read that book, dear Tori. Hello, dear one with a Cyrillic name, Jumahar. Lauren, you started the Bhagavad Gītā and got discouraged as you read a passage that said it's useless without a guru. Remember, dear Lauren, a guru is not a person, place, or thing. A guru is a space, an energy. If you are reading the Bhagavad Gītā, you already have a guru. Nobody can even know of the Bhagavad Gītā without a guru. It's spiritually impossible for a person to crack open the book if you are not being guided. If you have the ability to pick up a Bhagavad Gītā and open it, it means that some energy is there with you. You have a guru. Crossfires. How are you feeling in this moment? Dear Miyananda, you ask, what branch of yoga allows one to get to know the elements safely? Are you asking about the elements of fire, earth, water, air, and space? That comes from a parallel philosophy. There are 6 great schools of Indian philosophy. Yoga is one of them. If you're concerned about the elements, then that would be Sankhya, philosophy known as Sankhya. But there's all sorts of overlap in yoga and the other schools of classical Indian philosophy. But if it had to go by a name, it would be called Bhuta Yoga, the yoga of the elements. That's right, dear Gregorji. Lauren, you ask how to read the Bhagavad Gītā. Just a few verses at a time. Take example from this version, which is a perfect example of how to read the Bhagavad Gītā. It's only 700 verses, which is not a lot, considering that it comes from a story that's 80,000 verses, I believe. 700 verses could easily fit in a book only this big. This small. So why on earth is this Bhagavad Gītā absolutely thick like a textbook? It's because if you notice, if you look at any verse in particular, it breaks it down. There's just so much information contained in these ancient lyrics. Here's the Sanskrit, its transliteration, a word by word breakdown a translation, and then commentary that's about a page long. It extends to the other page. So this teaches us to really take our time. It's lovely to listen to it. Here, let's see whatever verse I happen to open up to. Om sanyasastu mahabhaho dukhang aptum ayogathah yoga yukto munir brahma nacharin nadhagachati. This means merely renouncing all activities, yet not engaging in devotional service to life, cannot make one happy. But a thoughtful person engaged in devotional service can achieve the supreme without delay. And then there's a whole commentary about the distinction between sannyasis and grihasis, people who renounce worldly life, but yet are constantly thinking about worldly pleasures. You can be meditating in the caves of the Himalayas, away from all of the earthly pleasures, but in your mind you're still craving them. So much better is it for those who are situated in worldly life, but yet in their mind not harboring any desires. If their whole purpose is just to serve that divinity within everyone, then they will be happy. So take it verse by verse. Some knowledge of Sanskrit is very helpful. It's okay if you can't read Sanskrit, but at least have one that gives you the Sanskrit and an English translation, so you can begin to pick up on the mystical soundscape. You have the same version, Lauren. There are many wonderful versions. This is a great version for students who are really dedicated to applying it as a manual, a guidebook for life. Thank you, Permaculture, aka Plant Man, for your octet of roses. Hello, dear Felix. Happy Lunar New Year. And you're wondering if I was raised by hippies. No. In fact, for most of my life, I was not spiritual in any way. I had an upbringing that simply encouraged me finding my own path. And for a while, that was through math and science. I was the biggest nerd and skeptic on the planet. You could not win an argument with me over the debate of things concerning metaphysics, and which I thought is pseudoscience, and religion and things like that. And then I ended up falling in love with the divine, and here I am. But I'm very grateful for parents who encouraged me to find my own way, whatever that looked like, and encouraged me to be open to change my mind. Dear user 680, you're wondering if you can get the name of the teaching I came across about seeing 75% in one eye, etc. The teacher's name is Mooji. M-O-O-J-I. Mooji. And that's right, Lauren. There's free PDFs of this book in many different forms and translations on the internet. Lauren, you ask how to show up in devotional service. Remember, devotional service just means living your life exactly how you're living right now. But you realize that everything you do is out of devotion for the source of this existence. And I mean that in the most literal way. Here we have a universe come into being. From where? We don't know. For what? Who knows? What a miracle it is to be alive. Let's let every thought, word, and deed be one out of a kind of love for the fact that anything exists at all, for the source that all of this has come from, and thus we are all a part of. That is the essence of Bhakti Yoga. It is also the essence of Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga. For true union in devotion, Bhakti Yoga is true union in action, Karma Yoga, and that is true union in knowledge, Jnana Yoga. I'm not sure, dear Mirna. I'm afraid I never watched that show. Michelle, you recently reread the Gita. You think you have a better understanding now than you had a year ago. Does that make sense? You're finding it difficult to articulate yourself tonight. You make perfect sense, dear Michelle. The Bhagavad Gita is that book that keeps on reading. You won't get it the first time. The second time, you won't get it. The third time, you still won't get it. The fourth time, you won't get it. Actually, you'll never get it. But each time you read it, you're a little closer to getting it. You could spend your whole life studying the Bhagavad Gita. You could end up becoming the world's best scholar of the Bhagavad Gita and have people study under you. And at the end of your life, close the book and say, I still didn't get it. And that's the beauty of it. Because it's the infinite journey. You know it is true infinite knowledge when you never run out of understanding. Thank you, dear Jared, for the heart me you sent. Om Brahm Bhairavaya Namo Namah. And dear Gina, thank you for your pair of roses. Radhe, Radhe. Dean, you read Bhagavad Gita as it is, but you started skipping the commentary. Oh, don't do that. Commentary is essential. Although, do come up with your own interpretations and contrast and compare. And don't worry, Stevie G, I have multiple versions of the Bhagavad Gita. Dear user 691, you ask, are you allowed to feel angry? Absolutely. Yeah. You are allowed to feel whatever you're feeling at this moment. If we try to resist our feelings, that's when they control us. But if we accept them, allow them to be there, then we gain a much healthier relationship with them. Jim, you ask if I was an atheist. I still am. Yeah, I'm an atheist who has fallen in love with God. Because an atheist refuses to believe in the existence of a God. I don't believe in the existence of God, but yet I'm deeply in love with God, and I know that this existence has come from Him, her, it. How does that make sense? Because the source of existence doesn't exist, just as water cannot be wet. I don't believe in God because there's nothing about God to believe in. God is. There's nothing I look at that isn't God. So when people say that God is up there in the sky, I don't see any God up there. When God commands the moral of His people, I don't feel commanded. When God makes demands, I don't feel like I've been demanded. All I know is that the source is love, and that love is one with my very own self. Dearest CVG, you ask if I can see your latest question. I do not. I apologize. Alright, I'd love to wrap up this live stream within the next 20 minutes or so. Dear user 691, you ask, do I think we return to the source when we die? No. There's nothing to return to that you aren't already at already. How can you return to a place you already are right now? You are in the source as we speak. Such is why Jesus said, the kingdom of heaven is within you. Within you means you don't have to wait until you go up there. Just abide in your innermost nature. You're already there. I'm happy to hear that said. Alex, you ask, what if math is a form of enlightenment? I love that question. All things are a form of enlightenment. You go deep enough into any field, you will find the Creator staring back at you. You can even do it while knitting. You knit for long enough, thinking about all the different patterns and stitches you make, eventually, I am sure, you will realize that life is nothing but a combination of combinations. Just like that string can weave itself into innumerable threads, forming whatever you desire, so too the arrow of time, like that, arising from the source, weaves together this tapestry of existence. User 680, you ask, can the source you return to be a kitty, a spoiled house kitty? However you see the source says, so mote it be. Be a kitty, a spoiled house kitty. However you see the source says, so mote it be. My apologies. When my connection hath returneth, let me know. It's back. Lauren, you ask, what about samsara? The deeper I get into samsara, I realize that it's been nirvana the whole time. The only thing I had to escape from was the idea that there was anything to escape. That I wasn't already in the presence of infinite abundance, truth, happiness, and bliss. It's all here. All the suffering in the world is not an error, a sign that we're in some place we shouldn't be. That's our purpose. We're meant to be here. We're meant to be servants of the world, to come and help and love and provide solace. Every person in the world who is in pain is a place for our love to be found. No challenge takes us from our truth, but only brings us closer to it. Every day we fall deeper and deeper into a bottomless pit of love. We can get carried away and feel as though as the passing things and sensations make us go as well. But we grieve unnecessarily, for we are the eternal self. I love that. Dear Lauren, you started laughing to yourself last night because you realized even an abundance of lack is an abundance. Indeed. Thank you, dear Kevin, for your heart, mate. Om Shorim Mahalakshmiyai Namah. And dear Anne, thank you for your subscription. Never expected, but I look forward to our paths entangle. Exactly, dear Alex. You are asking the right questions. we can look at all the suffering in our life and discover all the places of our higher self we've brought into contact with from such an experience. And we could look at all of the suffering in the world and ask ourselves, how can that inspire us to bring change to other people's lives? Let's end now with a meditation before we end. Om Namah Shivaya. Stevie G, you ask, can you feel blissed out and feel sick at the same time? Oh yeah. Bliss is not an absence of any other sensation. No matter what experience you may be going through right now, bliss can complement that, and nothing in your experience needs to change in order to feel blissful. Thank you, Tori, for your heart mate. Om Ashvinibhyam Namah. Yes. Nothing mutually exclusive about sickness and bliss, dear Stevie G. Tonight I'd like to end with a very simple meditation. Just conscious breathing is what I'd like to do with you. To time our meditation, if I may, take the holy garland of Rudraksha beads from around your neck that you've been energizing for me. Sorry, it's caught in your hair. Gotta make sure that I don't tangle up your hair. Oh, what beautiful hair you have. You take good care of it. Thank you. Very straightforward. I'll just be breathing in and out. When I breathe in, just as the breath travels down, I'll bring my hand down into the lungs, in case you can't hear it. And when I breathe out, just as the breath goes up and out, I'll bring my hand upwards. You can choose to use the audio or visual feedback to time your breaths too. We'll be doing 108. But please match your natural breathing pattern too, if you feel more comfortable that way. You won't get demerit points for not getting exactly 108, so don't worry. We'll begin with all the love poured into this mala from you. Thank you for consciously breathing together. I hear my phone alarm going off. Let me turn that off for you. And now that our mala beads are nice and energized, let me place them around your neck, if you consent. Namaste. May you carry this peace with you. Thank you for your presence. Now we've come to the end of our Sangha. I'm grateful that we had a chance to be here together. Thank you, dear Taro, for the heart me you sent. Om Sadhyo Jatam Prapadyami Sadhyo Jataya Vai Namo Namah Bhave Bhave Nati Bhave Bhavaswam Ham Bhavod Bhavaya Namah. Namaste, beloved Raven. Thank you, dear user 680. Much love to you and your family, dear Gina. Thank you, Tori. Tomorrow I will be doing something with my father. I asked if I could come over and play some Star Wars Battlefront with him, a favorite childhood video game of ours that we used to play together. We've been playing it our whole life. It's time for another game of Star Wars Battlefront. So I'll be with him. I'm not sure when I'll get back, but if I have time, I'll do another live stream tomorrow. Stevie G, you're wondering why the short lives lately, and can we get long lives again? I wish you all long lives. I've been trying to be more conscious of my sleep schedule and other Sangis' sleep schedule so that we all may go to bed at a reasonable time. So if we do more long live streams, it'll have to be maybe on a weekend, or if I can start earlier, I can go live for longer too. Crossfires, you're wondering if I look like my father? There's definitely pieces in between my mother and my father. I've certainly got a lot of my mother's facial features, like her eyes and her hair. But I got my dad's shoulders. I think I've got my dad's height and the way he carries his body, the way he distributes his weight, things like that. But a lot of people do say I look a lot like my father. As I've gotten older, I've noticed my face structure change, my whole body rearrange. I think when you open up into spiritual dimensions, your whole body goes through changes. So I think I'm beginning to look like other people in my life too. As weird as that sounds. Thank you, dear Gwendolyn. May you all have a wonderful rest of your night or morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time it is for you. Thank you all for being here. Chris, you wonder if I see God. There's nothing I look at that is not a reflection of the source of all things. And that includes you, dear viewers. May this live stream be an offering to the divinity within you. Om Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritangamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. Lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to the light, from death to deathlessness. Om. May there be peace in us, may there be peace in our environment, and may there be peace in the forces that act on us. Thank you to my lovely moderators for helping keep the peace. And if there's anything I can do to make this space more inclusive for you next time, hold me accountable to that. Keep me humble. This live stream will be posted to my Yamsox Lives YouTube channel, along with the meditation and reading in their own designated playlists as clips too. That's especially pertinent if you are liking the reading, the journey home, but are unable to attend given my spontaneous schedule and yours too, I'm sure. So if you want to catch up, playlist is always there for you. As goes for all the other books we've had the delight of reading together. So I bid you all farewell. Take care of your bodies, your minds, and don't take anyone or yourself too seriously. Because does a flower take itself seriously? Does it show up in the world with a suit and tie, briefcase, ready for business? No. Then why should you? As a most wonderful flower in your own way. One more prayer, one more mantra, shares Chris, as you wish. Aghorebhyo taghorebhyo aghore ghore dharebhyo sarvatash sarva sarvebhyo namaste rudra rupebhyo. Om Vamadevaya Namo Jeshtaya Namah Shrishtaya Namo Rudraya Namah Kalaya Namah Kalavekarnaya Namo Balaya Namo Balavekarnaya Namo Balapramathanaya Namah Sarva Bhuta Dhamanaya Namo Manonmanaya Namah. Om Ishana Sarva Vidyanam Ishvar Sarva Bhutanam Brahma Dipati Brahmano Dipatir Brahma Shivo Me Astu Sa Eva Sada Shiva Om. Om Tat Purushaya Vidmahe Mahadevaya Dhimahi Tanno Rudra Prachodayat. There, we've gone through all of the Pancha Brahma mantras. Thank you, Shelly Belly, for your ice cream cone. Om Bhur Bhuvaswa Tatsavitorvareniham Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. And the gingerbread lady, thank you for your pair of roses. Om Ham Jom Sa Om Bhur Bhuvaswaham Om Thuryambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukam Iva Bandhanam Mrityor Mukshiyamamritat. Om Swaham Bhuvaha Bhum Om Saha Jom Ham Om. And thank you, Gina, for your TikTok. Om Bhairava Rudraya Maharudraya Kala Rudraya Kalpanta Rudraya Veera Rudraya Rudra Rudraya Ghora Rudraya Aghora Rudraya Martanda Rudraya Anda Rudraya Brahmanda Rudraya Chanda Rudraya Prachanda Rudraya Tanda Rudraya Shura Rudraya Veera Rudraya Bhava Rudraya Bhima Rudraya Atala Rudraya Vitala Rudraya Sutala Rudraya Mahatala Rudraya Rasatala Rudraya Talatala Rudraya Patala Rudraya Namo Namaha. There's some good mantras for you. May you all have a wonderful rest of your present moment. Namaskaram.